So New York State Attorney General Tish James has now joined in the criminal hunt for Donald Trump and company. Let's talk about why that's an important addition to the quest for justice. Because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So New York State Attorney General Tish James told us all something last night that is interesting, unusual, and a little bit delicious. Here's the headline today in the New York Times. New York's Attorney General joins criminal inquiry into Trump Organization. And here's how the statement reads that was released by Attorney General Tish James' office. We have informed the Trump Organization that our investigation into the organization is no longer purely civil in nature. We are now actively investigating the Trump Organization in a criminal capacity, along with the Manhattan District Attorney. Okay. Let's try to read some of the tea leaves, because we have to acknowledge that we don't know exactly what that means, but what are some of the things we can reasonably infer based on that statement and based on everything else we know about ongoing investigations into Donald Trump and the Trump Organization, both by the State Attorney General in New York and by the Manhattan District Attorney Cy Vance? Well, we know that this announcement is bad for Donald Trump and company. Why? Well, anytime an investigation goes from being exclusively civil, when it's just about money, it's just about fines and penalties, goes from being civil to being criminal, now it's about potentially prison. So for openers, this announcement is bad news for Trump and company. It's also bad for Trump and company because two prosecutorial heads are better than one. We now have Attorney General Tish James, her whole staff, and the experience that they bring and the expertise that they have will be joining forces with the prosecutors in the Manhattan District Attorney's office, Cy Vance's office, and the experience they bring and the expertise they have. Well, those forces will be joining together to investigate and soon prosecute Trump and company. So two prosecutorial heads are better than one. That's also bad news for Donald Trump. Now, this was also a really unusual statement. Prosecutors or attorneys general don't often make public announcements that, hey, listen up, folks. We've got an investigation up and running, and this one has changed. It's gone from a civil investigation to a criminal investigation. Just wanted you all to know. Talk to you all later. It's unusual. But the fact that Tish James felt compelled to make this public statement tells me that they are moving ever closer to indicting Trump and company. Because you don't make a big splashy announcement about how now we are going after you criminally, Trump Organization, and then a couple of weeks or a couple of months later say, our bad, no charges, nothing to see here. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. What does make a lot of sense is that something changed, something prompted this very public announcement, and they're moving toward criminal indictments. Here's another reason they may have put this press release out there. Tish James' office has been investigating the Trump Organization civilly, not criminally, until she announced it yesterday. But as part of that civil investigation, undoubtedly her staff, her attorneys were interviewing witnesses and gathering information. But you know, it's one thing when a government official comes to you and wants to interview you in connection with some civil matter, it doesn't feel quite as weighty. It doesn't feel quite as dramatic as if somebody is investigating a criminal matter and they want to talk to you about it. So it almost feels like it could be a message being sent to all witnesses that Tish James will now be interviewing moving forward, because you're being interviewed in a criminal probe. So you better be straight with us. You better not lie. You better not shade the truth. You better not fudge the facts. Because if you do, you know what that is? You're obstructing this criminal investigation into Trump and company, and you don't want that. So there's kind of an atmospheric feel to it as well. And here's the last thing I want to say about it, and it's a little bit of an outlier. I know I've mentioned before that I was a federal prosecutor for 30 years. And when I heard the news break last night, I think it was on Rachel Maddow's show on MSNBC, that's when I first heard that Tish James' office put out this pretty dramatic announcement, not just civil, it's now criminal, and we're partnering up with the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. Here's the first thing that leapt to mind. I thought to myself, I'll bet they broke Alan Weisselberg. I'll bet he's now on board. I'll bet he's now fully cooperating and telling them where all the financial bodies are buried. Alan Weisselberg, of course, is the longtime chief financial officer, the bookkeeper for Donald Trump and company and the organization. And with this sea change from a civil investigation to a criminal investigation, it felt like something must have kind of broken open. And that something may be Alan Weisselberg. We don't know that. We're reading tea leaves here, and we're trying to draw reasonable inferences from what we do know. But let me leave you with one final thought, folks, and it's not the world's happiest thought. You know, when I heard this announcement that yet another office, yet another agency is criminally investigating Donald Trump, New York State Attorney Tish James and District Attorney Cy Vance is criminally investigating Donald Trump, and the Department of Justice, the feds, are criminally investigating Donald Trump, undoubtedly, with all the criming he did in the harsh light of day, and the Georgia state authorities are criminally investigating Donald Trump. You know, Donald Trump must be the most investigated person and the least prosecuted person ever. And that's got to change. Indictments need to start dropping. Accountability needs to happen for Donald Trump and company for all of the crimes we've seen him commit. Justice has to come. And it will. And it matters. Folks, as always, thank you for tuning into these daily videos. If you would like to support our all-volunteer content and efforts, you can go over to patreon.com, sign up to become a patron, and if you do, I'll send you some Team Justice stickers and a personal handwritten note of thanks. But as always, please stay safe. Please stay tuned. And I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.